Shalom. Kal halalim la benoa Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings be upon you and your households in the spirit of endurance. And for you men, may that spirit be, you hopeful elect, may that spirit of not giving a fuck anymore be upon you. All right? In righteousness. In righteousness. All right? Because we're coming to those times where things are going to get really serious. Okay, we talk a lot about America, even Jakes that are scattered around the world, because America is ground zero. However happens in America, especially being in the UK, which is basically like the 51st state anyway, if you want to look at it that way. The only difference here in the UK would be just that we got different accents, different dialects, depending on which kind of part of England you come from. Same as America, right? and the geography-wise is slightly different, but more or less the same. Obviously a smaller country, but right. But the same things are happening here that are happening there. But America is a little more because it is ground zero. It is Babylon. It is New Egypt. Okay, but the benefits are being cut here as well in the UK. All right, and a lot of them are ending December 2025, and they're going towards universal credit, and which means people are not getting enough money as they used to. All right, and you've got to go to these establishments instead of on a bi-weekly basis. It has to be every week to show how many applications and job applications you're making, to show to deem yourself worthy to get some kind of benefit for those that are looking for work. For those that can't work, that are in predicaments, that people, that are on benefits and got to do childcare or that have disabilities and all that, their payments are being delayed here. Okay, and I've made numerous videos on that, how people are suffering. All right, because this is the time to suffer, because this whole world's going to suffer just prior to the return of Yahweh Shai. Then when Yahweh Shai returns, it's going to be worse for you heathens and you 2/3. Okay, and the top of the list of those heathens is the so-called white people, you Caucasians, you Edomites, Idumeans. All right, and I always hear the term snap or EBT card, usually on a whole bunch of Mike Epps skits and jokes and things like that. Because we're so heavily influenced by America, we pretty much get to know being Jake and all. Jake always stays connected to Jake and Jake lingo, right? So you pretty much stay in the loop of what's going on. But nevertheless, instead of me waffling on, let's go to a scripture first. I'm going to play this new segment. All right. Please forgive me sometimes when I do waffle on a little bit. I guess I'm a talker. Salakia for that. Apologies. Lord willing, I can do better. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 24:11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Okay. What is the definition of mirth? All right. Definition of mirth. M-I-R-T-H. Let me try that again. Definition of mirth. M-I-R-T-H. Okay. The correct spelling is mirth. Okay, yeah. All right. Mirth is, example, the children's laughter was the sound of pure mirth. Expression of joy. Older meanings of mirth. Historically, the word also referred to eternal bliss, spiritual joy, or sexual love. Excuse me, Salakia. All right. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. 555. 5:55 in the morning. Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai. Okay, so joy, laughter, okay, all these things are not there, on a general consensus amongst people, how it used to be. Those of you that are old enough to remember, the world, how it used to be, because those of us that are like in our late 40s or 50s or 60s, have a comparison. But these young YNs, all they have is YouTube to refer to see how the world used to be. All right, but that mirth is gone. Okay, that mirth is gone. All that joy, the grinding is ceasing. There's no work. Paraphrasing the scripture there, right? And the Lord is breaking the staff of bread. Okay, slowly but surely. All right. Ezekiel 4:16. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. And people are already doing that. Jake is doing that. We've seen videos of Jake women saying, "Oh yeah, I'm using a little bit of deodorant every day to stretch it out, so I don't have to keep buying deodorant all the time." And I'm using, I don't know, using less makeup, so I don't have to use so much makeup because it costs so much. I'm just trying to decide whether, I'm trying to go for the non. I'm trying to go for generic name brands instead of the name brands. The so-called whatever you call them, designer brands of the food world. Instead of buying a Kellogg's, you're probably buying just a general. Some people are buying just general cornflakes, whatever. I'm just giving examples, right? Instead of buying Quaker oats, you're just buying regular oats, for example, right? And some people are deciding whether they need to, feed their dog or feed themselves. Here in the UK, I've made videos of where there's an Edomite man or a couple of Edomites. They're either living in caves now, resorting back to the old ways, of course, and they're having one meal per day. It could be a bunch of fish sticks with some beans and a piece of toast, right? But people are already eating their food and drink by measure, and they're astonished, right? Thinking that, what the hell? This was not what I this isn't what I expected how life would be at my age. Right? Especially these so-called white people that are so-called crashing out. They're crashing out, right? Second Ezra 16, verse 21. Behold, victuals, which is food, uh, things of that nature, right? Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Okay? At one point, you got Jake out there, even the heathen thinking that, oh yeah, food is cheap and I can buy burgers for this much, fries for this much, I can buy meat for this much, I can buy eggs for this much. Look how I'm being covered with all these benefits. Look at me loading up my trolley with $400-500 worth of food, grabbing anything and everything that my heart fancies, like a big kid, buying all the bullshit foods. We've seen videos of that, right? Not one piece of carrot there, or a potato, or a broccoli, nothing but all these processed, colorful, vibrant, bright colored, whatever the fuck they were picking up, right? All preservatives. Then you wonder why, most of Jake is doolally. Their brain ain't functioning right because they don't have the correct nutrition going in themselves. Not that the food is perfect anyway, because the Lord did say we are going to eat our food defiled, right? Paraphrasing the scripture there. Okay, so Jake was thinking that, yeah, look how I'm blessed. I can just get this down the third. You know, it's all profit for Jake because it was all cheap because daddy government was paying for it, so it was cheap for them. And then back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, food was cheap, money was there, money was flowing. There was some kind of balance to a certain degree prior to 2008. Okay, now that's all gone. Okay, okay, now that's all gone. Evils are growing. People are being deleted. All right. Sword, famine, great confusion. People are confused, perplexed, thinking, what the fuck is going on? They can't put their finger on it. Okay. So what's the agenda the so-called white man is feeding everybody? All right. With AI videos and crisis actors and some real shit added to it is the brown face, the afro, the brown face, the straight hair, the stereotypical Negro features, Native Indian features, in the UK, stereotypical Paki features, Pakistani features, East Indian features, Arab features, Nigerian features, showing brown people, right? There's Jakes amongst the heathen too, all right, but they're just showing people of color. Because that day when the race riots kick off, crackers ain't gonna think, oh, are you a Muslim or not? It's all that anti-Muslim shit. They just see you as a darkie. They're gonna come for you. All right. So their scapegoat is when so-called white man, when things go wrong for them, what do they want to do? They want to blame you, Jake. You know. So we can see famine coming. Trucks are not going to be delivering. Excuse me. Trucks are not going to be delivering to these stores. All right, and a lot of these stores depend on what? Okay, a lot of them are in hoods. Okay, a lot. You know what's going to happen? The heathen's going to suffer too. Mr. Patel, Mr. Habibi, right? Mr. Who else? Which other heathens have it? It's Arabs, Pakistanis, East Indians. You know, Mr. Silverstein, right? They're all going to suffer because Jake is not going to be spending in them stores anymore. No deliveries coming into them stores. Okay, and they're in the hood or in certain deprived areas, whether it's a honky area, Edomite area, or an Israelite area, right? They're in a deprived area, and a lot of the income that those stores get are from these benefits, SNAP benefits, EBT cards, and all that. All right, and if that is stopped, no money coming into them stores. Okay, and the deliveries are not coming anyway on a regular basis. Okay, the store is not like some gold mine where there's a bottomless pit of food and drink and milk and sugar and cream and all that. You know what I mean? And your Dutches and all that other shit that you Jakes like to get, just smoking your Newports and all that. It's not like a bottomless pit of crap that you can buy. All right, that has to be provided by trucks. Okay, the owner has to have money to purchase. If no money coming in, nothing coming out of that motherfucker. All right, nothing coming out of it. So it's going to lead to what? A complete destruction. All right? Complete destruction. All right? And we're heading that way. Let's go to the new segment now. All right? Central Florida store owners fear impact of government shutdown on SNAP benefits. Okay? And we know what Florida, Miami is a good portion of Jake there. Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom. You know? It's like a middle ground between the Caribbean islands and mainland America. And a whole bunch of Jake there. You know, plus the weather's beautiful. You know, I've never been there. I've been to the States, but I've never been to Miami or Florida or whatever. But I'm just saying, it's a beautiful weather from what I can tell by watching movies and shows and shit. You know, it is beautiful to look at. So Jake likes the warm weather. So there's a whole bunch of Jake there, man. Pretty much all the tribes are there. You know, so it's going to affect Jake in a crazy way. We don't care about the heathen, man. Their time is up anyway. And most of these benefits and EBT cards, SNAP benefits, all these kinds of things, they put you Israelites, you so-called brown people, you so-called black people and brown people, blacks, Hispanics, and natives as the face of it. But most of these benefits go to the so-called white man, and they get more than you, by the way. Okay, the Edomites, all right, and these are the heathens too. Let's play it. Let's go.
Today marks 25 days into this federal government shutdown, and there is no relief in sight. Some federal employees are strapped for cash after missing their first full paycheck on Friday. Many goods could get more expensive as well after President Donald Trump threatened Canada today with an additional.
Threaten Canada. This motherfucker loves to threaten everybody, throwing all the Hispanics out. Northern Kingdom. Salaki, I'm intervening like this. All right? And then this motherfucker got the gall to say, I'm going to go Venezuela. You know, to get the natural resources and whatever he's going to do. You know? Ugly son of a bitch, man. These Edomites are ugly people, man.
10% import tax. The president said that he wants to hike tariffs on Canadian goods because of an anti-tariff ad that aired in the province of Ontario. The province has since pulled that ad. A looming threat to food security for millions of Americans who may not receive SNAP benefits at the start of the month. SNAP, or the supplemental.
Today's October the 31st. Tomorrow's 1st of November. You know, this is an experiment. Esau wants to see Wagwan, isn't it? You know, as Jake would say, what Benjamin would say, you know, they want to see Wagwan. You know, what going on? You know? And being a weekend and all, you know, they usually do these practice runs, let's just say it, right? Usually over the weekend to see how things are, like or the cash point or the cash terminals or wherever you take the money out from. We call them or the cash dispensary. What do you call them? We call them cash points here in the UK. The hole in the wall we can get money out. All right. Sometimes they turn them off just to see how the weekend goes. They usually do these kinds of tests on the weekend, and lo and behold, straight after Halloween, which is a demonic holiday for these crackers, for these so-called elites. So they're going to be throwing up their demonic prayers. And by the way, let me add paraphrase the scripture. There is no enchantment against Jacob. All right, Yahweh Shemashai has his wings covering all the elect, whoever they are, across the four corners of the earth. All right, so you Jakes don't have to worry, man. Along with the elect lady, the children, if it's the Lord's will, the Lord will cover you, man. All right, make sure you pray. But nevertheless, right, going from Halloween straight into the 1st of November, you know, these crackers are, throwing up their prayers and all that shit, left hand side, to see, to amplify it, right? And it's happening over the weekend. So it's going to be quite crucial.
Nutritionists not receive a looming threat to food security for millions of Americans who may not receive SNAP benefits at the start of the month. SNAP, or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Food Program, is food assistance given to eligible low-income individuals. West 2's David Jones went to local grocers here in Orlando. And David, were these grocers concerned?
Luana, they were, a number of them. We visited stores where owners estimate about half of their customer bases purchase their food with EBT cards using SNAP benefits, which, as it stands right now, will not be funded come next Saturday. People who use SNAP benefits.
Next Saturday? When was this news from? This is 4 days ago. Okay, so they're referring to this Saturday, which is the 1st. Okay. Well, literally Friday, right? So this news, you more than likely came out on Monday. 26th, yeah, that was Sunday. 26th, yeah. So it came out on a Sunday, 26th of October. Monday was the 27th, so he's referring to next Saturday, which will be the 1st, which is tomorrow.
Benefits will still be able to access the funds on their cards. But with the government shut down, 42 million Americans will not be seeing their monthly payments for food assistance.
So right now, the economy is very bad, and people don't got no money.
That concerns local store owners like Angel Pimentel, who owns Maturo Fish Market in Pine Hills.
I feel afraid.
Afraid for the business?
He's obviously a Jake, more than likely, you know what I mean? So, because there are some Jake store owners as well, a couple of our people that do own stores that are doing all right, it's going to affect them too. But this is mainly going to, it's going to affect everyone, but we don't care about the heathen, man,
This is my business, and also for the people, because, they don't have no money to eat.
He estimates around 40% of his customers pay with EBT cards.
40% of his customers pay with EBT cards, bro. Damn near half, right? Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you bring in $10,000 a month, right? And that goes in your pocket, right? Okay, 10,000 a month, all right? That's gonna be cut by 50%, all right? Especially in these times.
Across the street at Caribbean Supercenter, the same concerns and the same hope that a solution will be worked out soon, before November 1st.
Hopefully,
Which means a lot of employees, school children, youngsters that are in between jobs, they finished college, they're looking for work. They might be, loading up groceries or taking groceries for old ladies, putting them in the back of their cars, loading up shelves, doing stock taking, doing the facing of products, where you got to turn products around to make sure the label's at the front, because you know how we are, a lot of us have done work like that when we were like 16, 17, 18 years old, and when we were in high school, college, or whatever, part-time work like that back in the day. It's going to affect people like that. A lot of pensioners that are working in stores like that for extra work part-time. I'm sure this guy, this Jake that owns his store, has a couple of employees that he has to pay for as well, and he's probably going to have to let them go. So there's a chain reaction and a cycle to this, man, which is going to the Lord is just plucking up that was one. The Lord is plucking up that was planted. Paraphrasing a scripture there.
it don't happen that way.
Abdul Alim is assistant manager at this store, which sells international food.
That way.
Abdul Alim is assistant manager.
Abdullah who? Lime.
Hopefully, it don't happen that way.
Abdullah Aleem is assistant manager at this store, which sells international foods like West Indian or Middle Eastern.
Yeah, it will be a great effect on our store. Most of our customer like 50%, 60% pay with SNAP benefit EBT. So that would be a great hit on our store.
I understand the hurdles of what people are going to go through if these type of programs are taken.
See, they're talking to Jake, right? Going to Jake areas and stuff. Why don't they ever go to a white man area? Because they don't want to put the white man as a face of EBT and SNAP benefits when it's mainly them, you know?
Way.
Shopper Deanna Diaz received SNAP benefits up until this year, but no longer qualifies. She, too, hopes a deal will be worked out.
I think that something needs to be done immediately so that these people are affected.
Florida is warning residents to be aware benefits will not be issued until federal funding is restored.
It's a need. It's a need for the community. It's a need for those who are less fortunate.
Federal funding is restored, but, Trump is spending money on this, that, and the third. Didn't he just make a ballroom? Right? Let's see how much Trump spent on a ballroom. How much did Trump spend on his ballroom, and where did the money come from? $250 million. Okay, who's paying for Trump's ballrooms? He's going to say donations. A full list of revealing the wealthy donors and corporations paying for U.S. President Donald Trump's £225 million ballroom, or $300 million. Okay, so the money is there for that. Okay, but people will say, okay, you run America right now, so why would you spend money on that? Why wouldn't you just sort of invest that money back into the government so the government can stay somewhat balanced? Right? People would ask that question. Don't you care for America? People have no clue, man. People have no clue. They always assume that people in governments wearing suits and clean-shaven faces with their pale pig skin are the good guys, not knowing that they're the biggest criminals of them all, man.
And I feel it's a need for the community. It's a need for those who are less fortunate. And I feel for them because I've had situations where if I didn't have it, I would go without. And it's unfortunate that people would go without.
The Florida Department of Children and Families administers food assistance to nearly 3 million people across the state of Florida. Luana.
42 million people are going to be affected, okay, when they're not going to get their benefits, all right? And those are people more than likely registered to receive benefits. Now, 42 million times 2. Let's say each of them has a child, right? Times 2, 42 million. That's 84 million people. Let's just say they have 2 children each, okay? Add another 42 million. If they have 4 children, add another 42 million, all right? Extended people in the family, add another 42 million. So those are probably just the people that are the named beneficiaries of these so-called benefits. So this is gonna trickle down, man. What's that saying? When shit rolls down the hill, it's gonna cover everything. All right, shit hits a fan, and this is gonna be in the literal sense. All right. Okay. So no benefits. Trucks are not regularly delivering to these locations, right? The tariffs, right? And then you've got people that are going to literally snap because they don't have the SNAP benefits. You got that aspect. The disparity between the haves and have-nots is going to increase, which means more home invasions, more people being held up at gunpoint or knife point, right? People can't pay for their medications, so more crazy people walk around the street. You can see where this is going, right? It's a recipe for disaster, which is good because this is the demise of the so-called white man's world. Okay, and that's why at the same time while this is happening, they're trying to push what? Digital wallet. And along with the digital wallet, what are they pushing? What's Elon Musk pushing? The charagma, the RF to the I to the D, Revelation 13:16. been pushing it heavy in America, and now the UK. The UK first patient by the name of Paul, I believe, just had his charagma put in his head. All right, so you can see where this is going. All right, Revelation 12 verse 12. The devil hath but a short time. All right, the devil hath but a short time. Let's go to that last. Actually, you know what? I had a couple of videos lined up, bro. Where is that gone? Ah, here we are. Let me just put. Walmart could take major hit with SNAP benefits expire. That's 2 days ago. That's from Forbes. Local grocers brace for SNAP benefit cuts. Americans threaten grocery theft on social media after SNAP. Grocery store owner preparing for delay in SNAP benefits. Which one should we go to first? Let's go to this one. Let's see some Edomite
SNAP
faces.
benefits are pausing for millions of Americans on November 1st due to the government shutdown, and some recipients are contemplating resorting to theft to feed themselves and their families. Take a look at what some people
The
are
haves and the
saying on
have-nots.
social media.
I will be at Walmart with my steel toes on
Okay, let's just see if they're putting Edomite faces.
and my helmet, and I dare try to stop me from walking out that store with my groceries. Baby, I'm 250 pounds solid. And if you are that Walmart employee who snitched on that single mother of 5 for simply trying to feed her kids, mind your business.
Social media's got a bunch of mixed reactions. Some worried, some angry, some trying to cope, but not everyone is thinking about breaking the law. Many people are actually sharing creative ways to stretch their dollars, like affordable recipes using items from dollar stores. There were even rumors that Walmart was going to close down for a day on November 1st, but a spokesperson quickly cleared the air on that one. So, how many people is this affecting? Well, according to the USDA, nearly 42 million people relied on SNAP benefits just in the month of May. That's about 12% of Americans. Now, the Trump administration's refusal to use emergency funds to keep benefits flowing has sparked major backlash. In Arizona, Governor Katie Hobbs called the move appalling, noting over 923,000 residents could be affected. She and Senators Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego are pushing for the $6 billion contingency fund to be released. In Massachusetts, Governor Maura Healey warned that about 1 million.
Or was that 6 billion or 6 million? For the 6 billion contingency fund to be released.
Fund to be released. In Massachusetts, Governor Maura Healey warned that about 1 million residents could lose access to food benefits starting November 1st, blaming federal inaction. Now, this pause affects both red and blue states, including Texas, Oklahoma, California, and New York, with officials issuing warnings.
Texas, Oklahoma, and California. Did she say New York as well? All right, Texas, Oklahoma, California, New York. What does that come to mind? A whole bunch of Jake. Those are the strongholds, right? California, full of Southern and Northern Kingdom. New York, all right, full of Southern and Northern Kingdom. Okay? You know, these are like strongholds of Jake. You know?
Even before the USDA memo became public. Because of this, states are stepping up with their own solutions. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz directed $4 million in emergency funding for food shelves across the state. Virginia declared a state emergency to allow possible use of state funds. Louisiana is prioritizing food assistance using state resources. California is deploying the National Guard to assist food banks, though it's not clear if state funds are directly.
And food banks are not even fully stocked up because they're running out. And you've got people running up to people with that waiting in the queue, a lot of government workers running up to them saying that, you know, there could be car number 25, right, in the queue, waiting to get, you know, whatever they can get in terms of food, beverages for their children and themselves. And the lady, you know, people run up to them that are helping out saying, oh, by the time you get to the end, there might not be enough food. Here is information of other food banks you can go and get food and stuff like that from, you know. So this being just passed around.
quickly replacing SNAP. But the USDA says it can't use contingency funds for November SNAP payments because those funds are legally reserved for emergencies like natural disasters. They say that's...
Isn't this not an emergency? But they're just reserving those billions for a natural disaster fund. That fund is for a natural disaster, so to speak. So what they're saying is this is an unnatural disaster. This is created. Reading between the lines.
Spending them now would be illegal. But the pause due to the government shutdown isn't going to be the only thing affecting SNAP. So head to part 2 for more.
All right, let's see what else is interesting. The local grocers brace for Walmart could take a major hit. SNAP benefits expire.
Build a website you love.
Okay, 1 second. I don't want the commercials to play.
Walmart will very soon start feeling the pinch of this government shutdown. Walmart earns 5% of its total revenue from SNAP benefit spending at its stores. SNAP program is $100 billion, $25 billion of which is spent at Walmart grocery stores and chains. So without any further ado, let's get into the economic effect of this government shutdown, as it does not appear to be ending anytime soon. And with that, let's get right into it.
All right, so I'm going to leave it there. You can check this news out yourself. I'm going to keep watching all this stuff. I mean, we get the idea of what's going on, right? Let's go to Revelation 12, verse 12. Everything affects everything else, you know. You can make all the money in the world, but if stores are closing, right, and money is going to be a thing of the past very soon. What we think is money, the dollars, the pounds, the euros. It's like in the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith. I believe he runs into a derelict bank, or a bank that was once operation, which was once in operation during the times of when the world is inhabited. When you see the beginning of the movie, and then that world is gone, that money stacked up all them billions and billions and billions of dollars or millions of dollars does not mean a damn thing. Okay? It doesn't mean a damn thing. All right? So everything affects everything else. All right? It's a chain reaction. No money, money is not going to be spent. Money is not being spent, stores can't stay open. Stores can't stay open, they can't pay themselves, the employees get stock. All right? They're not purchasing stock. Truck drivers that are not delivering on a regular basis like they used to 25, 30 years ago, all right? Their deliveries are gonna get even more smaller and smaller and smaller. All right. So therefore, what's this going to lead to? More crime on the street. The love of many waxing cold. Revelation 12 verse 12. Let's go there. So this is going to be, it's going to get gruesome out here. All right. Revelation 12 verse 12, King James Version. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, this devil, this cracker, this Edomite, okay, this cave monkey, this cave dog, all right, this hot dog water smelling MFer knows his time is short, along with you heathens too, all right, you other nations that are not Israelites, all right, you know your time is up, all right, so you better enjoy them silk sheets and whatever, those, your little mini mansions and your mansions that you crackers stay at, whether you're the elites or, related to the elites or illegitimate children of the elites like Trump, you better enjoy it, because in the kingdom, you're not going to have nothing. And, it's the start of your ending. It is big, this is the start of your ending. All right. And this is a beautiful thing. All right. For you elect, you hope for elect, you got nothing to worry about, man. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai has us covered with his wings, man. All right. All right. That confidence, spiritual confidence you feel, keep it going, man. Keep it going with prayer. All right. Pray without ceasing. Keep your medicine strong as a bolt. as Elder Apostle Rakar would say. All right. I'm going to leave it there now. Tomorrow's November the 1st. The clock is ticking. Let's see what happens. All right. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakar Kodash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.